All right, can you see me now? You can hear me and see me, okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
How is the lighting?
No, the lighting is fine. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. And how is the background? Like my background, because it looks blurry from my side.
No. The background is fine.
All right, okay, sounds good, yep.
Yeah. Oh, John, the background is fine, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you can make some little...
Okay, someone is suggesting it's too bright. The window at the back is too bright.
All right, just hold on. Let me see if I can switch up here.
So please. Yes, please.
Okay, how is that? Okay, that doesn't quite work, does it? No.
No. It's still kind of bright.
Right. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying just to move around this room.
Yeah. Okay, so now there is no bright light behind you.
That is too bright. What?
Do you want to go upstairs?
No, really, actually.
Okay.
Yes, I could.
Well, I mean, right now, do you have, just take note of the mess on the floor behind you.
Yeah, but it cannot be seen though. So, okay, is the lighting okay? I can try a different room.
Okay, we still have about 5 minutes or so.
All right,
so
okay,
yeah.
I'll try a different room. Okay.
Can you go upstairs?
Yeah, in that case, I might as well just go to my office. Yeah, it's gonna be so hot though.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, what if I do it here?
Yeah, but we can't see you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
If you sit back, so we can see your full.
Okay, this is still too bright, right? Yep.
No, this is much better, except that there's okay, good.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. Yes, please.
Yep, I can also switch off some lights in here if that's gonna help. Just a minute. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let me just try my office. Actually, I'll be right back. All right. I guess we're gonna work together.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
the plan is that once Mukoma settles, I wanted him to do at least two readings.
Yeah.
But at different times during the discussion. So we'll start off with questions. Probably we could start off with the academic. Please bring other books so that we just. We'll start off with the academic questions. I will do the introduction, and then we'll come directly into discussing the book. Yeah. Did you get any questions about the book itself, like the story?
Very basic questions.
Okay. Or maybe some of the previous works that he has, so that we could.
I was looking more at his research.
Oh, okay.
I didn't look at this.
Yeah, so then I guess we could start off with his research.
And then things he has done. So.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I actually think it's this way.
The other way around. Oh, okay. Yeah, far better.
Yeah.
Okay. Mukoma, Sasa.
Yeah, so okay, how is it now?
Very good. Sasa. Oh, you can't speak. My small Swahili.
Is that Swahili?
Yeah. Sasa means how are you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Mukoma, could you hear Kwabena?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's coming with echoes. Then also it's not coming through my microphone. So I don't need the can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
You can hear okay. You can hear me okay. Okay, yeah, then yep.
Okay, so I mean, Kwabena was trying his voice at some Swahili. We don't know if he succeeded. So,
yeah, can you hear me?
What was the word?
I say Sasa.
Sasa? Oh, Sasa as in hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was testing you to see if you were Kenyan.
No, it would be more fun if I was there, actually. Right?
Okay, so Kwabena, we'll see Mukoma in the monitor there.
Okay,
so we don't need to look behind us.
Sure.
Okay. How are we looking in the Zoom? Yeah. There's less light. It's not bright enough. But you've not turned this light on. Kwabena, if you could adjust a little.
I should move this way. I should set this way.
We also have set already for the YouTube stream, so don't make too many big changes.
So I can sit down now. Okay.
Yeah, Mukoma. So we're suggesting that we'd ask you to do the readings, but not at the same time as it appears in the schedule that I sent.
So at different times.
Yeah, at different
times.
Just
let me know when. So I've picked 2 passages. So just let me know when.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. So, but you're sure you can hear me okay? Because sometimes I speak really fast. So hopefully you can. If I speak too fast, just let me know. Just tell me to slow down. If I read too fast.
Okay, will do.
It's the plight of always being in a hurry.
Yeah, it's. Thank you for the time that you've.
No, this is great. I mean, yeah. I start teaching tomorrow, so this is a good break. Like just thinking about writing instead of teaching. Yeah, actually going to one of your questions, right?
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I heard it actually in Uganda from. I know it was from an East African writer, but I can't remember who exactly. It says, "I cheat at the university."
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was asked about how does he find time to fit the 2 in. Okay, I think you can start letting the people in via Zoom. Okay, so it's just 7:01. Kwabena, I guess we can start.
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, good evening to everyone, and thank you very much for joining us once again for another reading at the Goethe-Institut. We have forged ahead despite the fact that COVID has made it a bit difficult to meet in person. We've moved a lot of the readings to an in-person and online format, and that is how you are joining us tonight. We have a very interesting and accomplished writer as guest for tonight. Mukoma wa Ngugi is our guest at the Goethe-Institut in Accra, and we are going to be listening to him giving a reading from his latest book, which is And Bury Are Dead with Song. And I am Martin Egblewogbe from the Writers Project of Ghana, and with me to do the interviewing, as it were, is Dr. Opoku Agyemang. He is a lecturer at the Department of English in the University of Ghana. I'd like to start off with a short introduction of Mukoma, our guest. And Mukoma wa Ngugi is an associate professor of English at Cornell University, and he is author of many books, and I will go through a few of them. The Rise of the African Novel, Politics of Language, Identity, and Ownership. The novel Mrs. Shaw, which was published in 2015, Black Star Nairobi, Nairobi Heat, and he also has books on poetry, logotherapy, and hurling words at consciousness. And Bury Are Dead with Song was published by Cassava Republic and was released a few months ago. He also has ventured into radio plays, and he wrote in 2016 an 8-part radio play titled Drugs to Kill, Drugs to Cure for Deutsche Welle. So that is our guest, Mukoma wa Ngugi. I'd like to say welcome to you, Mukoma, to this evening's reading.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Yeah, and also to the Ghanaian Writers Association, and also, of course, to you, Martina, and Professor Kwabena. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kwabena, you have been taking a look at Mukoma via his academic work, and
Yes.
I will be looking at him via the lens of the book And Bury Are Dead. Start off, but for those who are joining us via different means, Zoom, YouTube, Instagram, you can send in your comments and questions, and we will pick them up and read them and share them with Mukoma at any point in the program. But we will also take questions from our guests who turn up here live in person at the Goethe-Institut. So let us start, and maybe Kwabena, you have some
Yes.
questions to ask Mukoma.
Yes. So thank you for making it, Prof, and we really appreciate your time. I was just thinking about how you were introduced, and you were introduced as lecturing in English. But a few years ago, you were at the forefront of this fight, as it were, to change the name of the Department of English at Cornell to a more, I don't know if you want to say radical or inclusive or progressive name. I wanted to know if you could talk to us more about that, thinking of the fact that I, for instance, I have to say I'm a lecturer at the Department of English. You know, I want to know like your experience in effecting that change and what you think that has in terms of lessons for other departments with similar interests.
No, thank you so much for that question, actually. Yeah, so my official title actually should be Associate Professor of Literatures of English, right? It's just that we have a lag between, I don't know, like changing. For example, I haven't changed my website, which really, you know, by the department, we have changed the name and then also the letterhead and everything. But of course, you know, it begins with, you know, with a departmental name change, started by my father, Agyemang, you know, at Nairobi University, where, you know, for them, they changed it from English department to just plain, or maybe actually truer. And then also you have the University of West Indies that has done that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for us, it was more a recognition also. So I would say it was part of that in a long-winded historical way. it was part of that history. It was part of that history, right, or that history of decolonization. But then for us, of course, each university will have its own individual realities, right? So over here we're not teaching literature in African languages or in other languages. So it was a way of saying, okay, we are teaching so many different literatures: Caribbean, of course, African, Asian American, and so on and so forth, right? That it seemed that it was time for the name to reflect what we're doing as a department. But we're also aided by the fact of the Black Lives Movement, right? And all the discussions around decolonization that are happening across universities, and also in political spaces as well, right? So maybe to answer it in short, I would say, to my mind, it was part of a decolonization process that began with decolonization processes in this case, Nairobi University.
Yes. Yes.
So, but in terms of departmental name changes, I really think you can do it in two ways. One is to just say, what are we teaching? Mm-hmm. What are we teaching now? What are the demands of what we are teaching now? And how is that reflected in our name and our hiring practices? And then, of course, the curriculum, right? Because the Nairobi University one was also about the curriculum. So the idea was even just get centered on English or British literature.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Well, so yeah.
No, I mean, I have questions, but you can come in.
Oh, okay. So my question would have taken us totally away from the academic front.
That's right.
Okay, but maybe I can enter it this way and ask writer and academic I heard some time back who was asked about his work, he university, and when he was asked, mainly in order to try and figure out how does he balance his work and his writing career, his answer was, well, I am cheating at the university, because I mean it's kind of hard to imagine how someone could actually manage two such very demanding careers, more or less, a writer and an academic. How do you manage yourself, Mukoma?
Yeah, so for myself, I approach it into. So I have two answers. Yeah, one would be that first I don't understand how people can teach writing and be writers as well, right? I have some colleagues here who are very prolific. I have a colleague here who produces a novel, every semester, like every year, and so on and so forth, right?
Wow.
Like, how can you be so prolific, and at the same time you're dealing with other people's literature, or other people's writing? If you're teaching writing, in my case, I teach theory, right? And I think in some way, teaching theory gives me a break, right? So I'm not. So it's almost like So I think of it as being symbiotic, right? So I go up with the theory and so on and so forth, and then some of the questions then would feed into my fiction, or vice versa. I'll start with fiction, and then that will lead me into scholarly adventures. To give you an example, my first published novel, Nairobi Heat, is about Africans and African Americans, right? So, and it's just questioning the relationship between Africans and African Americans. But that led me into a scholarly journey of wanting to understand that relationship in a more scholarly manner, right? So, and in fact, the first time I came forward to your meeting or to one of your events was when I was in Ghana in 2019, when I was researching the relationship between Africans and African Americans via the slave trade, right? And looking at the slave trade and slave castles in Ghana and so on and so forth. So myself, I think of them as symbiotic. Now, of course, I can think of it that way, but when it comes to hiring practical purposes, for a university, they want to distinguish between the two. Are you a scholar or are you a writer? But I don't know how you can do that as an African writer. Okay, look at Chebe, or my dad, or Michelle Mogo, Amata do. I mean, they write everything, right? Essays. Okay, Achebe wasn't a very good poet, not to insult. But at least he wrote poetry. He wrote some of the essays, like we some of the essays that we as scholars rely on to understand the field are actually from these writers. So I would say maybe the easy answer would be to say that we come from a tradition where the writer has to do everything because there is so much structures that are not in place, right? That you just have to do. You have to do as much as you can, and and if you grow up in my generation, you don't question it, right? You just assume, oh, at some point I'll have to write an essay.